like this isn't found at any ordinary bakery. But these multi-tiered, over-the-top creations are a signature at one historic shop. The shop is featured on Cake Boss, a TV show about Buddy Valastro's family bakery. But its fame goes far beyond extraordinary cakes. This is Carlo's Bake Shop, and it's been a staple in Hoboken, New Jersey for 110 years.
It's just absolutely a go-to institution. They're open early, they're open later, and when I need them on a holiday, they're still here for me.
We're in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is not that far from New York City, and this small town is known for one bake shop, Carlo's Bakery. They're famous for their amazing cakes, but they're also known for some really good pastries. So before we head inside, we're gonna meet up with the cake boss himself, Buddy Valastro, to learn a little bit more about this 100-year-old bakery. Let's go. Carlo Guastafaro opened Carlo's Bakery on a quiet street in Hoboken in 1910. About 50 years later, Carlo sold the business to Buddy's father. Bartolo Valastro moved the bake shop to Washington Street in 1989, where its iconic maroon and white awning hangs across from Hoboken City Hall today. Buddy worked closely with his father as a kid, rolling out dough, icing cakes, and piping hundreds of cannoli. But halfway through high school, everything changed.
When I was 17, I lost my dad, and my dad was grooming me to be the next boss, right, of the bakery. I was kind of like in limbo, but then one day I was just in my car, I was driving, and I said, you know what? I don't care. Whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna make this place successful. This is not my last stand. This is me, my family, my employees, everybody counting on me to rise to the occasion and make it happen.
Buddy saved his father's beloved recipes and made a promise to put this small-town bake shop on the map. It took a few years for Buddy to master fondant, but once he had, he began designing cakes other bakeries couldn't compete with. Since 2009, he's been known as none other than the Cake Boss, the celebrity TV baker that launched the Carlo's empire. This is 2 weeks worth of ingredients. Only 2. Incredible.
I mean, I bet you if we go to the bakery today, at any given time, we'll have people from 10 different countries.
Wow. And what do they come to get? Do they just get any of the...
The lobster tail and cannoli are our best sellers for sure. You're coming in from Chile, you're not taking this giant 5-tier cake that's moving and spinning.
Right.
But you can get a cannoli or a lobster tail.
Soy colombiana y estoy disfrutando de las delicias de la panadería de Carlos. En español, panadería. Delicioso, delicioso café, deliciosa cookies, galletas, brownies, todo es delicioso.
Although Cake Boss helped Carlo's achieve worldwide fame, the shop was loved by locals for many decades prior. Customers praised their traditional Italian pastries. Before the show aired, Carlo's was selling thousands of cannoli a week. Among the best sellers are their signature lobster tails.
I've been coming to Carlo's for about a decade, maybe longer, and I love to pick up a dozen cannolis or a dozen lobster tails, or sometimes 6 of each, and bring them to the office when we're expecting a bad day. Everyone always gets excited by them.
Lobster tails are very thin, shell-shaped pastries filled with Bavarian cream. How difficult is this to make?
This is the hardest Italian pastry to make by far. Okay, not even a question. The start is always the hardest part.
This right here.
Because you got to get it perfect. Because you got to still be tight, but it has to be greased. Otherwise, the lines will stick to each other.
I'm just shocked it's not ripping.
Yeah, so it's a balance of how much you pull without it making it rip. So we're gonna go there, and we're gonna pull it back a little, right? Then this is it. So now you gotta kind of stretch it so you have air underneath, right? See how there's like air underneath the dough? So then what we're gonna do, we gotta open each one of these by hand.
Right.
Okay. Then
There are so many thin layers in one lobster
it's crazy,
tail.
right?
It is pretty nuts. And then it looks like a shell.
it is. All right. Well, that's a Carlo's Bakery lobster tail, baby.
Thank you.
That's yours. Salute.
Salud.
Okay? Gotta
This is
get
gonna
the whole
get-
thing.
this is gonna get messy,
No,
I
you
think.
gotta do the squat.
Oh.
You gotta the belly squat,
Oh
so
my
you don't
God.
get it on you.
Oh, it's like it's a refreshing cream.
It is.
It honestly is.
You get that like almost ice cream like cream in there. You got that crunchy texture.
The flakiness is
Incredible, right?
The layering and the crunchiness that you get with that,
We take so much pride in this, and glad that we shared it.
you
with
can't
guys.
imitate this.
Never duplicated, baby.
Love for Buddy's pastries and elaborate cakes has allowed the Carlo's empire to grow. Today, the shop has locations all across the country, from California to Nevada to Texas.
I remember being with my dad. I was probably about 16 years old, and he was looking at a magazine, and he's like, "Son, can you imagine one day if our wedding cakes are in magazines?" I turned around to him and I said, "You know, Dad, one day me and you were going to make this bakery a household name." And it's like, after all this, it's like, wow. You pinch myself.